All right, let's move over to the AFC Championship. The Chiefs somehow do it again. They beat the Ravens in a game where Mahomes drops back 39 times. He completes 30 passes, 241 yards, and a touchdown. He had 6 carries for 15 yards. We got to hear from Mahomes on going to the 4th Super Bowl and how he does not take these moments for granted.
No, you don't take it for granted either. You never know how many you're going to get to, if you're going to get to any. And so it truly is special. Just to do it with these guys after what we've been through all season long, the guys coming together, it really is special. But I told them, the job's not done. Our job now is to prepare ourselves to play a good football team in the Super Bowl and try to get that ring.
And a benefit of Mahomes' big day, of course, is Travis Kelce has saved his best for the postseason here, Jay. Targeted 16 times. He catches 11, 116 yards, and another touchdown for Kelce in the postseason. And in this game, he passed Jerry Rice's postseason receptions record, which is absolutely absurd.
Yep, no, he was magnificent and certainly plays into the idea that, he's kind of the regular season, just probably not as important to these guys. Extra rest, he's come out and he's just looked like the old Travis Kelce. I think the most impressive thing is that he wasn't doing this against scrubs. He was doing this against the best defense in the NFL, and he was doing it against Kyle Hamilton, who might be the best safety in the game. He was magnificent. And
Hamilton had a bad game.
Yeah, Kelce definitely got him. He won that matchup. And, I think it's getting a little bit lost because they won the game, and we'll get into Lamar, who wasn't very good, but Chiefs got 4 first downs in the second half. They could not do anything on offense in the second half, but that first half of just Mahomes going Super Saiyan mode and Kelce being awesome, that was enough for them to win the game.
Well, a couple of things here. First off, you're 100% right on Kelce. And it's nice to see the play. What happens in the playoffs sometimes is just these unsung heroes.
Yes.
Guys that never get any pub suddenly have a moment in the spotlight. So it's
Mahomes.
Nice. Travis Kelce, finally people realize, oh, hey, where's this guy been? It's nice to see this guy get some publicity. And people talk to him. No, jokes aside, whatever. Kelce was Kelce. He was brilliant. The touchdown, the touchdown throw and catch, as you're going to see it right here for those of you watching on the cock, get to see. Oh, that's not that play. But here you go. These are just Kelce highlights. That was a great catch. I believe that was a 3rd down conversion. I believe this is the touchdown right here. There you go. Back shoulder throw, just unbelievable.
What is that?
Travis Kelce. So. This is great. Right, one-on-one on Hamilton, really well defended, and just I don't know how you defend that. There's nothing you can do. That's just Kelce and Mahomes haven't played together for forever. This is Mahomes extending the play. This was an absurd play as well, and Kelce somehow coming up with a catch there as well. So his most receiving yards in a game this week since week 7. 8th career postseason game with over 100 receiving yards. That's tied for the most games in NFL history with Jerry Rice in terms of most postseason games with over 100 yards. It's just ridiculous, and it's he was a known quantity. When you're the defensive coordinator and you're all right, when you're Mike McDonald, you're all right, let's figure out how to stop the Chiefs.
No.
You're probably starting with 87, pretty high up there on the list, and so credit to him.
The problem is that on the game finishing play to the great MVS is that they doubled Kelce on that play. Right. It was they doubled him, they took him out of the play, but then Mahomes is just so good that, all right, whoever is the go-to guy, I'm not going to force it into Kelce, and he gets it to MVS. I think the other quiet story from this game on the Chiefs side, because no one else really did that much, is that they gave Isaiah Pacheco 24 carries, and he only got 68 yards, and a lot of focus on how the Ravens running backs only got 6 carries between them. Not sure the Chiefs should have been running Isaiah Pacheco 24 times when they averaged 2.8 yards per carry, but they did enough in the end to win it.
So I did an interview earlier this morning where they were asking me my sort of reaction on this, and this is what I said on that show as well, which is they asked me about Andy Reid, my thoughts on Andy Reid and the job he did. And the question was, and I thought this was a really interesting question, was has Andy Reid done his best coaching job ever with this crew? And I think you can make an argument for it, right? Because Andy Reid offenses traditionally, especially in the Mahomes era, has been we're just going to air it out. I don't care how many points you put up, we're putting up more. You know what I mean? And what he has done, what he's realized over the course of this year is this ain't that team. He's just so we're going to play good defense, we're going to run the ball, and we're going to try to grind out victories, which is insane to think about on a team that still has Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but that's what they did against Baltimore. They grinded out a victory. To your point, they had 4 first downs in the first half. For the brilliance of Mahomes and Kelce, they were both brilliant yesterday. The fact of the matter is they won this game because of Steve Spagnuolo and that defense.
Yes.
Like, it was unbelievable how good that defense played. They made Lamar the MVP, and the consensus and unanimous MVP, that no one's just like, really, we're giving it to that guy? Like, everyone's just like, Lamar's the MVP. And they made him look awful. They made him look like he was of the 4 quarterbacks that played yesterday, he was the worst one by far.
Yeah, no question. It was like he got the Brock Purdy's Ghost of Christmas Night came to haunt Lamar Jackson. I thought that he just looked rattled. He looked like he didn't have time, didn't really know what he was doing at times, and just 2 plays in particular, and they were the 2 plays that really sunk the Ravens. One, awful strip sack in the first half, just didn't feel the pressure at all, and then the interception to Isaiah Likely into triple coverage, where as soon as he let that go, it's like they were trying to, every drive in the second half, it was like they were trying to score 10 points every drive.
Right.
And it's like, guys, you have the best defense in football. Kansas City can't do anything at the moment on offense. It's okay, just kind of calm, lowered heart rates, and just the mistakes from Lamar and Zay Flowers ended their season.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Lamar, he drops to 2-4 in the postseason now, and we obviously got to hear disappointment from him after losing the AFC Championship. Listen in.
Well, I'm not frustrated at all. I'm angry about losing. We're a game away from the Super Bowl. We've been waiting all this time, all these moments for an opportunity like this, and we fail. But I feel like our team, we're gonna build. This offseason we're gonna get right, get better, grind, and try to be in this position again. But on the other side of victory. I mean, we mad. But I understand. Coach gonna give a speech. That's his job. But we mad. We got to this position, 1 game away from the Super Bowl that we all, what I've been talking about, my team been talking about all season, and we fell short. And like I said, offense, we didn't put nothing on the board. We scored once. That's not like us. We drove the ball down the field. That's cool, but we got to put points on the board. But I feel like my team just angry, not frustrated, we just angry because we know how hard we worked to get here.
And obviously frustrated Lamar Jackson, as we show here, Matthew, the offensive struggles from this team against the Chiefs on Sunday.
Yeah, by the way, 1 for 6 on 3rd down, just 7 yards. He took 2 sacks. If there's a quarterback in the NFL that should literally never take a sack, it's Lamar Jackson. Like, he should have been more Brock Purdy-like. Like, dude, you're faster than everyone on the field, right? Unless Tyreek Hill suddenly starts playing defense, you're faster than everyone you'll ever face. And so, like, you should have a internal clock that's different than other quarterbacks, which is like maybe it's a half second sooner, but like if you feel pressure, take off and run, especially yesterday when it just wasn't working as well. You mentioned the strip stack. For all the criticism that Jordan Love got for his cross-the-body throw for the interception that ended the game against the Niners, which was a bad throw and a bad decision. Lamar's throw into the end zone, again, you have a backup tight end who's triple covered.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
And like they could have gotten bailed out by pass interference. Likely got pushed out of the way before the ball got there. But like, I mean, this is just bad, man. Like, by the way, Isaiah Likely calling for the ball in triple coverage too. Like, dude,
he didn't have a step on either defender.
Dude, like that was. I love Isaiah Likely, but even I'm like, dude.
Yeah. I mean, to be like, we're so outcome based where like Lamar had the same awful throw against Houston the first drive of the second half. It's just Jalen Petrie just dropped it in the end zone, and then Lamar goes on and has an awesome day. But I mean, it was tough. But I think the big problem for the Ravens is, and this was what we thought their problem might be going into the season, is that it took until week 20, but they finally had to play a game from behind. And when Lamar has to just drop back and pass, it's like, all right, well, who's he going to? Zay Flowers, who's a rookie. Odell Beckham, who was completely unsighted the first half of the game, and then all of a sudden he's getting targeted every play in the 3rd and 4th quarter. Justice Hill on screen pass. This was their offense when they had to throw, and when the run game was removed, they just didn't have the talent, and Lamar didn't play well enough.
Todd Monken had a bad game.
He had a bad game. He had his Josh Reynolds, like, oh, this is not the time for this. He did. There's no way around it.
Gus Edwards is, I'll tell you, like, because as this is what we do, right? I mean, like, you sort of look at the game, you figure out the matchup, and here's how I think plays out, and here's how I think if I was coaching the Ravens, this is how I would attack them. And so, like, I took one of my bets that I took this all over the place. I took it as an individual bet. I took alt lines. I took part of parlays. Gus Edwards over. I was just like, they should given how good the secondary of the Chiefs is and how much the Chiefs have generally struggled against the run. The Bills ran all over them last week, I should say. Like, this is going to be a Gus Edwards game. I think Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. I took Gus Edwards with 41.5, I think was his line. I took an alt line at 50. I took an alt line at 60. I took anytime touchdown. Gus Edwards' first rush goes for 15 yards. I was like, there we go. Here we go. Let's go. We're going to catch this in the first
Put
half.
your feet up on the ottoman. You're like, this is going to be great.
He doesn't get another carry until the second half.
Yeah.
Goes for 1 yard. He ultimately finishes with 3 rushes for 20 yards, which, by the way, if you divide that up, 3 for 20, it's a pretty good average.
Yeah.
His fewest number of carries in a game this entire year. He had the same rushing line in the 2020 divisional round loss to the Titans, where he had 3 for 20. Like, what are we doing? The game at they were down 1 score the entire game. Like, at worst, like, it's not like they were ever out of it. Like oh boy, we just got to throw because we're down 3 scores. 17-9. The final score was 17-9.
Yeah, it was like they didn't realize how dominant their defense was playing and also, like, as bad as San Francisco's run defense was yesterday, like, over the course of the whole season, the Chiefs have a worse run defense.
Yes.
And this was the best rushing offense in football going up against that matchup. And it just seemed like they never leveraged it. It was almost like they were so spooked from the first half of how well Mahomes played that, like, we need to score we need to get 7 every single drive to keep up with him, not realizing that, well, the Chiefs literally didn't score in the second half. So.
They got away from their identity. It's like the, aura of Mahomes out there. They looked across and go, we have to drop back and be this explosive pass team rather than controlling the football and grinding out the game.
Yep.
It wasn't away from them.
But they Zay Flowers with a fumble, and then the taunting call pushed him back, and like
Tough day for Zay.
Tough day for Zay, tough day for Isaiah Likely, tough day for Todd Monken and Lamar Jackson, whose narrative of not being able to, not be able to get through on the playoffs didn't work. Do we have that graphic we were talking about? Do we have a graphic comparing Lamar Jackson to Brock Purdy? We don't? All right. We were talking about it. We were talking about doing anyway, just whatever. We don't have the graphic. It's the last show of the season, whatever. Who cares? But Steven's already out to lunch. He's already at a beach, but with his Swaguars. But
a beach in Brooklyn.
Yeah, beach in Brooklyn. Yeah, exactly. But I just, I don't know. Lamar, the highest, I think he's the highest paid quarterback, right? He makes more per year than Mahomes at this point.
Ooh, that's a good question, depending on the structure. I would imagine he's up there.
He's up anyway. Whatever. The one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, the presumptive MVP, was by far the worst quarterback on Sunday of the 4 that were in the championship games.
Agreed.
Let's take a look at the final updated bracket as we, obviously look at how things shook out.
Yes.
All the way from the
so much for the logo conspiracy, right? Like it just goes to show. It just goes to show, whatever conspiracy you have about the logo and the fix being in, nothing trumps Taylor Swift.
No.
You cannot. They put the logo out before T Swift and Kelce became a thing. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.